Hello, livers and kidneys. Beans too, no one wants to be left out. Hi, Elliot here. You here too. What up? Thanks for joining me. My since you asked, it's because I was like, I don't know if this video is gonna stay up because the thumbnail is a little bit racy. I mean, it's not a fat, tight ass and a G-string for a song, but that's my real body hair. What up? I don't even digress. Let's keep going. This is like a topic that if I stray towards the like poignant or even practical, I could go on at length. And it's a little bit controversial too, in that, like most truth, actually, in this day and age, it runs in the face of, is that the saying? Flies in the face of. Does that make sense? Flies in the face of popular thought, or like I like to think of it, stupid. Not thought. It's a lot smoother and like one wordish in my mind. So I'm going to try my darndest to not get too distracted from really juicy stuff. The emphasis that I'd like to place on this, like teach, learning, share, is the rhythmic aspect of our biomorphogenic fields. I don't know, all the words are so fucking gummy that it's like, what the fuck do you mean? It's like, I don't even know what I mean, yo. So let's express it like words that are simpler. I want to emphasize the rhythm. Feel me? And the rhythm of, like, say, our heartbeat is biologic. Anything that has a current running through it has an electromagnetic field. Our bodies have electrical impulses running up and down, and sideways and long ways and short ways and all kinds of ways, round ways. So our body has an electromagnetic field. Now, the heart has a current running through it. It has electromagnetic or electrical impulse demands. It also has electromagnetic supply. In this way, so does your liver and all your organs, your brain. That's an easy one, right? So they have different electrical impulsive expressions. And another way of considering or kind of applying, like, adjacent knowledge or awareness is anything that can be expressed as an electrical current can also be expressed or field, because it's like we're discussing, it's the same fucking thing, is an expression of essentially like atomic vibration, right? What is heat? what is energy? Um, like subatomic particles rubbing up against each other. Yeah. So these vibrations, currents, fields, frequencies, wave forms, right? Cool. So we're kind of like building as to like what we might be talking about. So let's say that rhythm, you have it or you don't. It's a fallacy. True. Thanks, Clint Eastwood. I mean, gorillas. I mean, Gorilla Z. True. Anyways, so that rhythm, yeah. And then bio. What did I say? Biorhythmic. So bio. I just wanted to like shift it from just biology because there is no disciplines in science. All that separation is convolutions towards confusion and whatever like anti-dissemination is. Sterility. I like that. You see where I went though there, yeah? That's funny. And like, right. Whoa. Feedback is like, do I need to explain that? Let's explain it in terms of what we're talking about. So let's be in a pool because we'll come back to the pool later. And you're on the one end of the pool and I'm on the one end of the pool. And we both do like a big like wave, right? That wave, as it crashes into each other, let's say like they're the exact same wave. Well, then when they crash into each other, they kind of cancel each other out in a big kind of like, yeah. Okay. So that would be feedback from our wave making. The feedback from our wave making is when we make the exact same wave at the opposite ends of the pool, and they when they hit each other, they cancel out. Now let's be on the same side of the pool, and I'm gonna go like whoom, and it's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, and then you're gonna go whoom. Now, as it's moving to the opposite end of the pool, we could call that anything really, because there's no real relationship until they interact. I'm simplifying. So they get to the end of the pool, and then like the one wave hits the end, and it kind of like flips under like a swimmer's turn, and then the other one goes over it as it's the first is going under, and then they follow, and then they kind of dissipate with no further like impetus for energy. That's harmony. Now, let's again same side of the pool, boom, and then you or me, or the second one, shorter, but like kind of more forceful. It's like boom, boom. The second and third waves are exact same, but they're moving twice as fast, but like perfectly twice as fast. So as they interact with the first bigger wave, they are in harmony with it, and as such, in the same rhythm, and as such, when they meet that first wave, they don't cancel each other out. They don't even disperse it. It's not like it's getting dispersed at the end of it. Where it's hitting, let's say the center, it's almost passing through seamlessly, except the waves are adding their forces together, and that's resonance. Like I said, like give me a little and I'll give you a lot. And this topic is really important to understand when you can learn to apply it to anything and everything and nothing. So let's now, we're talking, what's the pool, Elliot? What, you never been in a piscine? We were talking about waveforms. All the organs have their own vibe. They all have waveforms. And typically, stereotypically, just about everyone's organs are running in some kind of fucking cacophony of sound, comparably to each other. The more really consciously, emotionally aligned you are, the more you bring your whole beingness into resonance, right? They get along, or your organs are getting along. And as such, until eventually one can be electromagnetically sovereign. And that happens when all of your biology is in harmony with itself. And I'm not even going to speak about resonance too much in this because I don't want to confuse the two. I really want to discuss it because it's useful and to create the distinction between harmony and resonance, because they're not the same fucking thing. But who lives in a vacuum? Dust mites, little ants, gerbils sometimes, but for not very long. Because we take them out as an accident. Nobody lives in a vacuum because vacuums aren't real. Okay. It's actually one of the chores that I enjoy. But I hate, not hate that's strong, but hearing other people vacuum kind of annoys me. So maybe that's why I like vacuuming, because like I'm in control. And so I manage the like rhythm. Otherwise it's just noise and like staticky and anti-rhythmic. And anything anti-rhythmic fucking makes me uncle. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's you. It's me. It's us. What up? Right. So now we're in a field, like our own, let's just say you and I are self-harmonious. But like however harmonious we are, we like everything that has an electrical current running through it has its own field. And like what your computer has its own field. Its individual parts has its own field. And really anything left to run in time, in any kind of rhythm, it doesn't even matter if it's like, it doesn't start harmoniously. The fields themselves will become harmonious with each other unless there's no pattern to any changes. And if you look at your screen, your computer, chances are that there is, I mean, not chances are, there must be for it to work, because fields are currents too. There needs to be that harmony. However, does your computer update every 5 minutes? Yeah. Okay. The reason for that is the sinister reason for that, rather the insidious, because I like sinister. The insidious reason for that is to keep your fucking hardware out of whack. Like make a song, and then boom. It's like, whether it's doing the downloading or the installing or something like that, every fucking 5 minutes, but no, it's like 3 minutes, and then it's like 2 hours, and everything, something different that makes no sense is happening. And so that's all current information that is whacking the field and disturbing it, so that not only when, and I don't know how much you know about the physics of electricity one way or another, but when fields are perturbed, that creates an electrical discharge. So if you ever like start to feel really tired all of a sudden, or you tend to get drained throughout your day one way or another, you know, you can understand that all of your fields are being perturbed, and why they basically discharge is one as a kind of like defense mechanism, right? So when a field discharges, it in that moment, like the smallest of moments, it's like 0 point, but like for a split, to kind of be like everything, and then it reforms with a either like more or less, it's never the exact same, but more or less with the same kind of harmonious harmony, because like its defense mechanism has been set off, or it's also interpreting whatever disturbed it in the first place. Because if that is a part of a new song, it's going to integrate it so it doesn't fucking discharge every 5 minutes. It's not always on defense. And just about everything, and it's kind of clocked this way, gives rise to ourselves being like fucking whacked, in so much so that most people, yeah, I'm generalizing, educatively, accurately, in an educated estimation of accuracy, don't even have like their own kind of harmonious field. These like when these, like you can see, because you're just not you're watching this video, they get pulled every way, which way. They get sucked into things and can't pull themselves out. And like now you can maybe notice the ways that you get pulled into things and can't suck yourself out. It's like that is your gap in your field, where there's no sovereignty, there's no spine to stand on, no feet to, no feet to stand on, no legs. I added that because it's also important to say those parts of your body specifically. Where were we? All right, I think that's the meat and potatoes of like biorhythmic feedback, as far as our interactions, our own fields, the rest of the world. Yabba yabba. Now, what has this got to do with underwear? What doesn't it have to do with underwear? Now I'm honing in, because if we're talking about just fields, it can start, we can start, well, shit, you just might not be looking at everything and be like, that's a field, that's a field, that's a field, that's a field, that's a field. Good. Do that, because then you'll start to integrate what's a part of you and what's not a part of you. And then eventually that'll be everything and nothing. And then you're fucking sovereign. And then high five to that. That was 10. But not really. It was like 5 twice, which isn't 10, but anyways. Pendulum. Rhythm. You feel it. And I want to come back to emotions, because that could be in the title too. I just didn't want to, title too much and get myself too distracted. If you're a man, you've got balls. They hang between your legs. Your penis too. And it's not a genetic mutation of nonsensical order, that there's that 3 aspect to it. You got your 2 balls and you got your penis. And you got the 2 balls, which are more or less the same size. Never exactly, but I don't know. I've never actually compared my balls. But I know, anyways, if you feel me, right? And then the shaft, I couldn't help it. What? Talking about John, yo, I can dig it. Which is just it interacts with motion differently. And what's the bullshit reason for wearing underwear when you like run or do sports or something like that? I'm not talking about jock straps because those can be practical. What up? Is that your balls are fucking flying everywhere? Well, like if your balls are flying everywhere, run differently, right? Like don't run so your balls are knocking up against your legs. Now I'm like the like Will Smith in me is like I'm trying like my balls, I got knock you should knock heaven. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And yeah. Oh fuck. But also rhythm, man. Like come from your hips. I said that, but I'm leaving it alone. Right? Your biorhythmic feedback of motion, because your motion has current running through it, and thusly your motion can be harmonious or perturb your fields. You in the moment adapt. You come to your own rhythm, right? Women, okay, if you're a woman, then you actually maybe don't need me to tell you your rhythm makers. I'm actually very curious, but what women want. Fascinating movie. Erroneous. But I like Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt. Moving on. Your boobies. Your boobies. Yeah, boobies. Right? Bras. Fuck bras. Fuck bras hard. Right? And men and women are different. It's not it's not a genetic fucking accident that our rhythm makers are between our legs, and kind of like I want to say like forward and down. Everything's forward down in gravity, but like anyways, they're down, and breasts are forward more, or rather just lower body, upper body, and that's more what I mean by down and forward. It's not so much the orientation as much as like your center of gravity, and where your rhythmic feedback in movement and motion is where you're getting that. Are you getting it from between your legs, or you're getting it from your chest? And like, again, I can go into a lot, but men and women are different. Our bodies are different, and they're perfectly different. And having them harnessed, suffocating, or at least just fucking artificially held in place. P.S. As a guy, there's no such thing as saggy boobies. FYI. Breasts are always awesome, just like your arms and your hips, especially your hips and your thighs, love hips and your ass. Like all that, like point of attractions as far as like sexuality and sensuality is mostly like biological hijacking, right? The whole form is fucking gorgeous. And then there's like, okay, well, like what? Well, but big breasts are a thing, Elliot, and we want them to be perky. Well, no. And it's not because of fucking youth. It's because when you're breastfeeding, they take on characteristics that instinctually give rise to certain reactions, but every instinct can be overridden with wisdom and awareness and sovereignty. Because my fucking dick field doesn't run my fucking heart field. Make sense? Cool. So underwear is the devil. And that's how. Now, what about the small titty and the little dick? And I'm not even being anything, because size doesn't matter. What you think matters, how you feel matters, and and your rhythm matters. Everything is beautiful. But nothing except butts are awesome and maybe deserve special fucking like honorifics, because that's something men and women have in common. All right. We're all made like perfectly, differently, genetically self-awesome, right? The way my ears are shaped, the way my hair grows, where my hair grows on my body, the length of my fingers, the proportions of my upper body and my lower body, all of it is meant to support itself and each other when allowed to. So when a woman has smaller breasts, then maybe she's longer in limb, like proportionally. So her biorhythmic feedback as a beautiful organic or inorganic entity is more received from the move of her elbows or her ankles or her toes, or her nose. And really the same thing for a man, right? There is no ideal shape except the ideal shape that we kind of, I don't know, like I'm perfect. I've got an ideal shape that I will fit perfectly with when I fit with it. And that's just eternity. And we all kind of have that. So it's like nothing to be squabbled over, right? Certainly not a thing to try and be made fucking carbon cut and like same, but not even different. Yeah. So moving on from underwear, I think you got that, yeah? And really all clothes can be kind of like that. And there's a reason also why, and if you think about it, I'm thinking about it with you, like the tendency for types of clothing that men gravitate towards and women gravitate towards. It's not that men like don't like flowing garb, right? Or women don't like tight fucking pants or need tight pants and don't like, you know what I mean? It's just, you can only hijack us so much. We have our needs and we might give them psychological foundations, fictions, but especially when we're being run unconsciously, there's like a pretty high threshold for unconscious manipulation when it comes to like that like base tone, which is why fear is so effective, because fear is that field perturbation that applies to anything and everything, and it activates the like, fuck it, like everything can change if it means we're that afraid and we cannot be afraid again, right? Shoes. I'm not even going to touch on shoes as the grounding aspect. I'm talking about shoes as like your toes and how your feet find rhythm with their walking. With like I'm barefoot as much as possible all the time. I don't wear socks anymore. And while I've always loved barefoot, I started doing yoga about 10 years ago. And then I started teaching it about 8. And so I practically lived barefoot all the time. And you can't go back from that. So I'm the dude walking on the sidewalk, or probably more likely on the grass beside the sidewalk, holding his shoes, walking his dog. Or just fucking walking with my shoes in my hands any chance I get, where it's not too abnormal and impractical socially. But you better believe in no time I'm going to live somewhere where I don't have to fucking wear shoes at all, ever. Because they're dumb. And they take away our biofeedback, our rhythmic, our bounce from what's beneath them. Right? Why do we wear shoes? Because the floor's hard. Did that sound as stupid to you as it did to me? Right? It's like, we were made to walk in grass, and now everything's pavement. And pavement's hard, so we gotta wear shoes. That's like doubly stupid, yeah? So like basically we're making the floor bad for us, but obviously they're making the floor bad for us. And fucking pavements, nothing is too hard. Stand on pavement. Is it biting you? No, man. It depends on how hard you whack it. Which is why insoles and thick fucking these things, fucking bottoms, all the cushioning destroys your legs. You don't get insoles if you got flat feet. You go barefoot if you got flat feet. You use your fucking feet. Because actual flat feet is actually a much more uncommon genetic mutation than it isn't. Most people just have fallen arches. And for the people that have flat feet, they're perfectly flat feet, because that's how their whole system is adding to our whole system to offer its unique integrating biorhythmic feedback, so as to be inclusive and harmonious and then resonant and so fucking kick ass. So shoes suck. And then this is the last thing that I'll touch on, because I have to pee. Piscine? No, don't think pool. Oh, we're going to talk about the pool. Oh. There's nothing that you can think about that makes you not want to pee. It's like baseball. Moving on. Weighing yourself on the scale is stupid. Now, I've never been so predisposed. There might be like a short time in my time, like tiny. It's like, watch the what is it? Like the nominative pronouns or whatever. When I was probably like 18 or something like that, or my teenage years, when we're all physically fucking super insecure, and I was just so skinny, and all I wanted to do was put on fucking weight, where I kind of weighed myself with any kind of regularity. And that was super irregular, and it basically doesn't count as weighing myself compared to people that weigh themselves. Like my mother will weigh herself like sometimes more than once a day, like forever, for like her whole life. And it's dumb. Let me tell you why it's dumb. Because going back to the fields and like the truth, weight is relative. Like, neat fact, and then we'll go back. You weigh differently depending on where you are in the world. How is that even possible? Let me tell you. What is a scale doing? It's not telling you your weight. Absolutely. It's weighing you comparably, right? If you weigh me in the shallow end of a pool and you weigh me in the deep end of the pool, I'm going to weigh differently. Move me while I'm standing in the shallow end. Move me while I'm in the deep end. Try and push 300 pounds of anything on the ground. It's going to be hard for me. And I want to say for quite a few too, but push 300 pounds floating in the pool. I could probably manage that when I was a kid, right? So when you weigh yourself on a scale, all it's telling you is, all weight is your relationship to gravity relative to the medium. The medium being the like etheric substrate upon which electromagnetism and et al. Persists. Okay. Or if like ether makes it sound witchy when really it's a scientific term. My hesitation is science is stupid. Hence, everything that I'm saying is actually pretty simple, but you have to discover the simplicity of the truth through all of the gobbledygook of the confusion. Where was I? Swipe, moving right along. So when you weigh yourself, it's telling you your weight relative to gravity, which isn't density. And even density, if you like look it up, like all those measurements are, first of all, different so as to confuse you. Calorie, joule, coulomb, all of it's fucking energy. Temperature, Celsius, Fahrenheit, it's all the same fucking thing. It's, I reckon, 18, maybe, yeah, probably 18 degrees outside right now. You know what that is? It's a measurement of heat. What's heat? Heat is the energy in a closed system. What's a closed system? Our atmosphere. What's measured? What's energy? Electricity. Temperature. When physics scientists, not physicians, and I don't mean doctors, I mean people like me, physician, want to, and I don't do this because physicians don't do this bullshit, convert temperature to something that is like broadly applicable. There's a formula to convert it back into joules, into electricity, right? When you start to work with extreme temperatures of, especially the minus, because what's below zero? Absolute zero. There's nothing below zero, but there is. And so you fuck temperature and you convert it back to into electrical measuring. So if you weigh a magnet and then you weigh a metallic object separately, and then you put the magnet and then you tear the scale, just to say you set it back to zero, but with the magnet there, and then you weigh the object again, it will be heavier because it will be the magnet plus the gravitational force, the magnetic force of the magnet and the thing. But like, is there a fucking gravity well underneath that scale all of a sudden? No, man, it's just like their field, their field relationship being expressed in terms of weight, which is really just a set of numbers that we've assigned to measure something that we've decided to measure so that we could rule or make rules. What does it have to do with the biorhythmic feedback, though? Because this is super important, and maybe that's only why I wanted to share it. But it fucks with your emotional biorhythm because it's setting on something. Not only is it setting yourself on setting how you feel emotionally, not just sensationally. Although that's the other thing. I'll just say this. One of the fucked up things that people do, that like the social conditioning, the the biorhythmic hijacking, is giving emotions names, like labels, and then calling them feelings, but thinking of them in terms of thoughts. They're not thoughts. They aren't feelings. They are the synergy and the expression of really your truth, which is really your love in any given moment. Not even I digress, because I could say that in every video and it wouldn't be enough. So you're setting your emotional response, your own feedback on something external to you, but you're also setting something external to you that is external to your the greater externality. I haven't weighed myself in a while because really every time I think of it as an experiment, I just can't be fucked. But I went to the doctor probably about 1.5 years ago or something like that, and we did the whole weighing and everything like that. And I knew I was like leaner, but I also felt like dense and more or less the same. I knew I hadn't lost that much weight, is what I'm saying. But the scale didn't reflect that. It reflected that I had lost more weight than I knew, than I felt. And it's not true. But if it were true, I would, if I didn't know that, rather, when I lose weight, I would get insecure. I don't want to lose that much weight, and like, because losing weight means skinny, which means I'm not muscular, which means I'm not attractive. And then what am I going to do? I'm going to feel heavy, which isn't actually going to put on weight. It's going to drag me down. I'm not having a harmonious push and pull with my mother, father, the earth, right? So I gotta pee, but also it's a good ending. Like, don't assign anything of the way that you feel and think, and thusly your emotional harmony and potentially your emotional resonance on that which is outside of you. Anything that you perceive as outside of you, internalize it. And I really mean that, so that you can take responsibility for it. Because when you take responsibility for things, you take your ability to respond upon yourself. Just take responsibility for everything. And then maybe notice the sway of your shoulders, your hips. Loosen up your waist. Like, instead of like flexing your belly by pulling it in, push it out, and then find some happy medium. I'm doing it right now a little bit. That was like that Kegel, like hold your pee in. And that gets all the rage, right? Because fucking Cosmo probably wrote a fucking article about it. And so that gossip shit spread like fucking, I'm going to say wildfire, because I feel like it is socially inappropriate and thusly my bag. See what I did there? What even fuck was I saying? Something about wildfire. I don't know. I forget because I kind of have to pee. Oh yeah, Kegels. It's not just about the holding your pee. Have you ever like pushed pee out? Yeah, man. For everything, find its opposite. Do that too. Be harmonious. Or at least respect left and right. But I'm left-handed. So I'm perfectly biased. Thank you for joining me. I hope that this was helpful. I know that it was, because it was helpful for me to express it. And that's love, baby. All right. I will be here with you still, because that's how we roll. I love you. I wish everything for us and everyone, because even if we all weren't all one, I would still want that, no matter how much more subjectively I would love you. Namaste.